So now for part two of what you will teach, which is about standards. What is the purpose of standards? You'll have lots of practice in working with standards, but why do we have them? Why do we need them? Well, standards state what students should know and be able to do during a certain grade level. That is the core of standards, what students are expected to know and do. The intent of standards is to guide the curriculum and instruction, to help teachers know what to plan and how to plan it, what their students are expected to know. It doesn't tell a teacher how they should be teaching. It only states what students should know, and it's up to the teacher's professional judgment to choose which standards are the most important, how best to teach those. In other words, to plan their curriculum around the standards, in reference to standards. But you should not just take a standard today and go for it and read the standard to the students and say, this is what we're learning. It's up to the teacher to craft their lessons and their curriculum around those standards. What standards will you be expected to teach? Well, currently, most grade levels use the Indiana state standards, were developed in Indiana by Indiana teachers and policymakers. But some grades have moved to the Indiana Common Core standards, which are nationally developed standards that Indiana has adopted. Now, only some grades have adopted them, and you'll see why and hear why in a minute, but you need to be familiar with Indiana state standards and Indiana Common Core standards. Here is a table and listing of which grade levels have implemented the Indiana Common Core standards, and along with that is the new test, which would be the PARCC test instead of the I-STEP. As you can see from this table and listing, that the Common Core state standards have been implemented in kindergarten and first grade. They began last school year, 2011-2012, in kindergarten, and then first grade also adopted them this past school year, or the current school year. The governor of Indiana just signed a bill to postpone further implementation of the Common Core until they can be further examined and studied. So this table is no longer correct as of Saturday. So that's why I said you need to be familiar with both, because there's not going to be a decision about how we're moving forward with Common Core as a state until December. So in January, schools will know whether they're implementing the Common Core state standards or the Indiana Common Core standards, however you want to say it, if those are going to be further implemented or not. Along with a new test that's not the I-STEP test. So stay tuned, but now you are informed when you hear discussions about Indiana Common Core or Common Core state standards.